What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. Now, I'm sure you saw in the thumbnail, today we're going to be taking a look at some Insignia thermal paste. And now, Insignia is a brand that is sort of like Best Buy's brand. Like, you can only buy their stuff at Best Buy, and I'm pretty sure that Best Buy is the maker of this stuff, or this is like their OEM, I guess you could say. Well, they make this thermal paste, and you can actually get quite a bit of it for, I believe it's like $7 or $8 or something like that. And I want to see if this can hold up and can actually cool an i7-8700K, both stock and overclocked, and how it compares to some of the more popular thermal pastes out there today. Now, the other paste that I'm going to be testing, just to kind of get a better idea of how this stuff performs, is going to be the Noctua NTH1 thermal paste. And this is actually the stuff that I have pre-installed on my Noctua NHD15 cooler. I'm also going to be testing Gelid GC Extreme. I've heard that's a pretty good one, as well as Arctic MX4, which has always been a popular choice, and Arctic Silver 5. As far as my testing setup was concerned, I used i7-8700K to stress out my CPU, and the way that I did the temperatures was I took the average of all 6 cores after 30 minutes. After that 30 minutes was up, I would just open up my PC, clean off the old thermal paste with rubbing alcohol, and then apply the new paste as needed. So, as far as my setup is concerned, like I said, I have an i7-8700K, which is quite a toasty CPU to cool. It's also running on a Gigabyte Z370 Aorus Wi-Fi motherboard, and the case that I have is the Thermaltake View 71 TG RGB. Now, for this case, I have 3 140mm intake fans in the front. I have 3 120 intake fans at the top, and then I have a Corsair ML140 as a rear exhaust. Also, all this testing was done in a room that was 71 to 73 Fahrenheit, or 21.6 to 22.7 Celsius for all you international people. And we're back. Wow, that was a lot of work, but it was definitely a lot of fun. Before I show the graphs here in a second, I just want to say, if you guys think I could have done anything better to be a little bit more accurate, or anything like that, please don't hesitate to leave some constructive criticism down in the comments below. But without further ado, let's take a look at these graphs. So if we look at the average CPU temperatures here after 30 minutes, we can see that the Gelid GC Extreme came in first place. The Insignia thermal paste, aka the Best Buy paste, definitely came in last, but something I want to point out is that there's not enough variation in temperature here to make a meaningful difference. This is at most 2.5 to 3 degrees, and that is within the margin of error. There's no way I can definitively say, hey, this paste is definitely better than this paste in this test scenario. And the same thing happens when we look at the peak temperature. So this is the hottest that any of the 6 cores got during stress testing, and we can see that all 5 pastes are effectively the same. So at stock speeds, you can choose any of these, and odds are you'll be all right. Once we overclock, we start to get just a little bit more variation in the temperatures, and we can see that the Noctua NTH1 came out on top, and the Insignia paste, aka the Best Buy paste, came out in last place. But something I want to point out is that for a 5 GHz overclock on an i7-8700K, I was expecting much worse from well, I would say it's like unbranded, it's kind of like cheap thermal paste, but the thermal paste wasn't that bad in this instance. It was able to keep my i7-8700K fairly cool in a stress test, and that's not bad for $7 considering you can buy this at any Best Buy. I honestly expected it to perform worse, so yes, this paste can somewhat tame a i7-8700K here. And moving on to the peak temperatures, we can see that although the Insignia paste had a peak temperature of 96 Celsius for one core, it's still not that bad, and it's still under the 100C T-junction or whatever before the CPU would start throttling. We can see here that the Noctua NTH1 did have lower temperatures than everything else though, but I don't know, that may be just because I'm using a Noctua cooler and it may just be designed for that or something, I don't know. But all in all, the thermal take, I don't know why I said thermal take right there. The Insignia thermal paste really isn't that bad, and if you're in a pinch, you could definitely get away with buying the $7 paste. Now, would I recommend you using this paste for overclocking? No. As you could see in the graphs, you could save a few degrees by going with any of the other 4 pastes there. But I think the more important thing to see here is that it's not about what thermal paste you choose, it's more so about the cooler. You should really spend the extra $20 on a better cooler as opposed to spending the extra $20 on a better thermal paste, because we can see here the thermal paste is really only gonna, knock off anywhere from like 2 to like, I don't know, maybe 5 Celsius at absolute max. So to conclude today's video, yes, the Insignia, aka the Best Buy thermal paste, will do its job when cooling a CPU of your choosing, and that could be both at stock and overclocked. Although, just keep in mind that there are better options out there. So if you liked today's video, guys, be sure to hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.